What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Malazan server. You could probably tell that we are currently in the end. Now, I was thinking of recording, actually I did record the dragon fight. I'm accidentally looking at Enderman now and I'm not aiming to. But yeah, as you can see, we're here sort of getting some ender pearls. Now, after the fight, I'm just going to show you a couple of clips of the fight now. Well, the highlights from my perspective. And as you could probably tell there, it did not go too well for me. As soon as I came out of the tunnel, which was, I think it's just there, I got knocked into the air. Obviously, everyone came out before me. The dragon started swooping in. I didn't clock that he was swooping in, or she was swooping in. And the dragon, with the knockback that it's got, knocked me straight off the edge. So I lost all of my gear, which made me pretty much next to useless here in the end. And yeah, so the rest of that fight was me looking through a pumpkin, trying to fight it with a stone sword, just trying to help in any way that I could. But thankfully, we've got a good few decent players on here. Well, better than me taking on the dragon in that instance, definitely. Because they did manage to dispatch it pretty quickly, actually. There's a couple of them that went up on the pillars. There were a few deaths here and there from hitting the ground too hard, but I don't think anyone other than me had the unfortunate sort of surprise of being knocked into the void and losing all of their gear. So I had no bow, I didn't have any diamond sword or any armor, and I didn't, oh, sorry about that, my phone should be on silent, and I didn't actually have any, whatchamacallits, any gear sort of put aside just in case of emergency, in case that did happen. So yeah, it did not go too well for me at all. So after that, I think it was pretty late when the actual fight happened my time. It was around about 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning when they chose to actually fight. Which meant that I didn't exactly have time for running out there to try do some end busting. Which is unfortunate because most of the end cities through the portal have now been hit up. So what I'm planning on doing, or what I'm going to attempt to do, is create a flying machine over here in an effort, I'm just trying my best not to get killed by these guys, in an effort to hopefully fly out in the opposite direction to where the portal is, in order to be able to get to, oh my god, I've got to put my phone on silent, in order to get to an end city that has not actually been raided yet, is what I was going to say. Sorry, I was actually reading messages that has been sent to me. It's one of the lads on here who's lost, who got killed by an enderman, I believe. But he's worried that all of his gear might have despawned by now. So, yeah. So I'm going to I'm going to try my best at building a flying machine. So we've got some bits and pieces in our go-go gadget chest over here. So let's grab you, grab you, grab you. Some glazed terracotta and some of you, and then we need some building blocks as well. Are you still angry with me? They're teleporting a lot. I think they may still be angry. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so let's crack on with this flying machine, shall we? Let's go up 3 high. And then let's do one of these guys. That looks to be okay. And then we want one of you. Do a little T shape here. Oh, I'm not sure if I'd looked at an Enderman there. And then like so. And then we want you here. And then say you here. Bust this guy. And bust one of these guys. And then we want a couple of observers on us to look upwards into you. I'm putting in the observers now just so they doesn't trigger and start flying away without us. Which has actually happened a couple of times for me in my test world. So I'm trying my best to avoid that. Do that and do that. And then let's break these blocks above the observers quickly. No. Oh. Are you angry with me or are you just going to be hassling me? I don't know what his problem is, but we're just going to try our best to ignore him for the time being. And hopefully he doesn't murder us. And then we all look to be in place. Then we can throw... Are you angry? He's making the angry noise. So let me just get rid of this guy. Come on. I was murdering them to get some ender pearls because I was going to attempt to go through the portal, but then my mate on here, he has been saying that everywhere he's gone through the portal, everyone's been making massive bridges everywhere. So I'm just going to assume that the majority of it has all been sort of looted, which is unfortunate, but it's just the unfortunate case of being on a server and it's sort of like first come first served as to who gets to the end islands first. Like that. We do one of these. Then we're going to want a couple of safety blocks around this. So you and you. And our hope is that we can stand here and then go 1,000 odd blocks outwards. But we don't want to be losing all of our gear on us. So in case I do, because I've not tested this in a realm yet, so I don't know if the lag or anything is going to affect it. But we've got a couple of picks. Let's put away all of these bits. So then we've got the resources to build another one. We're going to want one piece of obsidian on us to stop the flying machine. So we've got building blocks in here as well. And is there anything else I need to throw in there? Got all of our other stuff that we probably need. Once we get some shulker boxes, should we actually get that far, we should hopefully be alright. But is there anything in here that I wouldn't mind losing one of them, and then we can put our axe away because I don't really want to lose that. But everything else on me, I'm not really all that fussed about. So yeah, let's give this a go. Oh, actually, to start off, I'm going to need a button just to activate one of the observers. Fingers crossed this goes alright, because I don't know what the sort of connection is, because I know that the host connection to the server, sometimes the server will keep control of where the machine itself is, but won't relevate the sort of operator, which is me in this instance, in the same place all the time. So fingers crossed this goes okay. We've got our button back, which is a good sign. And we've not glitched off yet, but if we're going to glitch off, I would hope that would be before we go over the void. But the worst things worst is that we lose a couple of sticky pistons, which I now wish I had put into my ender chest. But yeah, this looks like, oh, there is a bridge actually going off all the way out here, which means we may have to stay on here for about 2,000 or 3,000 blocks before we get to an area. So, hopefully this goes right. But the one good thing is that if we do fall or glitch through, we've got a bridge directly underneath us. So yeah, I'm just going to carry on, and I'll bring you back once I hopefully get somewhere decent. Okay guys, so as you can probably see from that last clip, the flying machine after a couple of lag spikes did end up just glitching me through and dropping me down. I dropped onto this bridge, but I ended up just getting murdered by an enderman, because as I was falling there was tons of endermen on the bridge and I accidentally looked at one. So now I'm currently running down the bridge that someone has made to wherever it is they've made it, and just heading out to hopefully catch up to my flying machine and to see if any of my items managed to survive. And I don't know how far it was. I think it was around this sort of area that I fell off, because it was next to that little section there that was built out I was trying to run to. And my flying machine is just up there, but it was in an unloaded chunk, so hopefully it's just stopped. And hopefully we can just hop back on. But sticky pistons, ender pearls. I was hoping that my ender chest would have survived, but clearly it has not. And my flying machine is still going, so hopefully we can just follow this and catch up to it at some point. But I need some blocks on me, because I don't think the 4 that I have got are going to help me very much. I should have really brought some other resources with me. But you know what, I'm just going to run out and see. I need to try to see where this flying machine is. Okay. And then let's just carry on running along the bridge, in the hopes that we find some sort of blocks that we can pick up to enable to block the actual flying machine. It did go pretty well. It went well for around about 400 or 500 blocks. And then a couple of lag spikes, someone joined and then someone else left the server, and it caused a little bit of a lag spike which ended up kicking me through. And then I landed on here. So I'm going to see how far I get on this thing. We're coming up to another island, so our machine should actually stop at this island anyway, because the island's higher. And hopefully there's some blocks here. So yeah, after I make some sort of progress, I guess I'll bring you back. Alright then guys, so after that last failed attempt of a flying machine, I tried about another 6 or 7 variations, and then I just realised it was working fine on my single player world, but as soon as I tried to build one in the realm, the flying machine standing on top of them would just sort of glitch you through them. So now see, this is what's annoying me, is that I've had to build the majority of this entire thing with a pumpkin on my head, because endermen keep on spawning down here, which is not good or not fun. Now I've decided to go for an ice highway. After about 4 variations I managed to create a couple of them which done a 3 wide sort of frozen thing, but it sort of ended up tapering off that one of the water source blocks would then go missing, and then it would only create one every other block. So then I started looking on YouTube and I found a few variations. I tested out a few different variations. This is around about 4 or 5 hours later, by the way. This is after me jumping back and forth into test worlds, single player, then onto the realm, testing it. And I'm hoping that this one by Silent Whisper of the Ice Highway should hopefully work. I've tested it about 6 or 7 times in a test world, and it works fine. And this way I won't be relying on standing on a moving block. I'll just be relying on walking along the actual ice pathway. So to activate, hopefully that enderman's disappeared now, so I can take this pumpkin off my head. So to activate it, I just need to activate that observer there and the one at the back here. And then we've got Frostwalker 2 boots on that armor stand there, which should hopefully freeze the water source blocks that this guy should be creating. But we need to get out the front of it in order to break the obsidian, which is going to stop it from flying, which is just here. Hopefully this doesn't kill me or anything, because I haven't got anything that I don't mind losing, but I've got my decent Silk Touch pick. because our last Silk Touch pick, the junky one that we made, disappeared into the void when we fell in it. And if you check by our chat, it's fell out of the world, fell out of the world, fell out of the world. I've lost quite a few items falling out of the world and I'm a little bit sick of it. So I'm hoping this version works. Fingers crossed anyway. That's our obsidian out of the way with, and then we just need to activate this guy. Hopefully that will then kick off. And then we need to get this guy activated, and like so. And hopefully that should now start freezing. We are going to have to hop up behind it, because if that one goes into an unloaded chunk while we're not there, it's going to be bad news bears. But this way we have a border on our ice pathway as well, and it seems to be working alright as long as we keep them both loaded. And we're down near the end of the world actually. We're at Y level 4, and so the end of the world, so which means we have got water source blocks underneath us. And in order to reduce lag, to keep it friendly on the realm, just to make sure that there's no unnecessary lag, I've gone and built it all the way down near the very bottom, which means there's only like 2 blocks of flowing water underneath the bridge. But this seems to be working, which means I'm going to probably follow this for around about 4, maybe 5,000 blocks. And then I can stop this one in front of me pretty easily with a piece of obsidian. And the other one will automatically stop as soon as it goes into an unloaded chunk. So this is going to be my life for probably the next 15-20 minutes, just following this thing. You can follow it in a boat, but it's a little bit dangerous because it's an ice pathway, boats go flying on them, and we really don't want to go flying into the void and unload both of these at the same time. Because what will happen is that this one will carry on into the unloaded chunk and probably crash into the one in front, which is going to be bad news bears for us. But by the looks of it, this is decent. Enderman can't spawn on ice, so that's all happy days there. And because we're in the end, the Frostwalker, if I get my words out, boots, when they freeze the ice, it doesn't actually unmelt, which I don't fully understand why that is, but hey, if it works, it works. I'm happy with it. And the reason why we're going to go around about 4 or 5,000 blocks out is because, by the looks of it, the players that are on last night, all of the American lot, because it was their evening time, so most of them were on, it looks like they fully explored just the outer ring, which is around about 1 to 2,000 blocks away. So just to put the odds in our favour, we'll go a little bit further and hopefully do some end raiding by the end of this episode. Fingers crossed, or by the end of my day at least. So yeah, I guess I'll catch you back in a bit. Alright then guys, so it took about half hour, 40 minutes to get our ice highway up to about 5,000 blocks. And then I sort of dug up onto one of the islands. Enderman is a little bit dodgy. So yeah, I've dug my way up onto one of the islands and travelled, I think it was about 2,000 blocks in one direction, then another 1,000 blocks, jumping from island to island, using bridges made of the end stone where I was digging it out, and finally come up against a end city. And as you can look behind me, it is an absolute massive one, and I think you can also tell that it's got a boat. So happy days there. I thought I'd bring you back to actually take this one on. And I've been wandering around in third person with a pumpkin on my head because I died twice from the Enderman already. So just to avoid the aggro from them, I've been running around with a pumpkin on my head. Just in case you was wondering, I put some signs up here because I had to go walk my dog and I didn't want no one stumbling across this on a rare chance and then raiding it after I'd already got here. So yeah, let's go ahead and do this. Let's actually take the pumpkin off of our head. Now, the situation being is that all of our tools have fire on, like all of our weapons. So we've got flame on the bow and fire aspect 2. Now, I don't know if the shulkers die from the fire damage, if it counts as a player kill. And shulkers, I believe, only drop their shell on player kills. So on the off chance that it's not, we are going to be using our trident to put our helmet on, just for the extra protection. Ah, there we go. So I did kill the 2 at the front and none of them dropped shells because I was using my bow. There was 3 of them. There's 1 on the side, 2 on the front, and none of them dropped shells. So I was a little bit worried that it was a case that they just won't drop it if it's, whatchamacallit, not a player kill, and I don't know if the fire damage counts as player kills or not. We're just going to be safe on this one. I'm just going to do this. The last thing I want to do is die right now because I'm so far away, and although the ice highway using a boat will be extremely quick to get back, it's more of a case that trying to get to this location from the ice highway is a bit of a nightmare. My bridges go everywhere across the islands. Okay, so this is a big room of them. Let's see. They seem to be fighting each other more than anything else right now, though. Okay, I thought I'd bring you back to check out these first chests to see what we get. We have got projectile protection chest plate, some mending diamond boots, always handy, silk touch shovel, fortune pick, and a bunch of gold, happy days, diamonds to replace the ones we've lost. Unbreaking thorns is a little bit garbage, but I'm breaking free and protection on them. And what I can actually do is start trading out some of this stuff. So let's do that. I'll keep the other bits and pieces, but while we're here, we are gonna sort out our ender chest because it's an absolute mess with all of our resources from building everything, and now we've got the ability to make some shulker boxes. So let's get this guy down. Crafting table. Yeah. And let's get some wood out. Make some chests. Make a few. Oh, apparently you can only make one of these at a time. Oh, isn't that nice to finally have some shulker chests? So then we can start organising everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish on taking this. I'll probably do another little bit of a time lapse of it. And I'm just going to skip this bit because it's going to take me a minute or two to go through all of my inventory, transfer everything. So yeah. Okay, so this is actually, I think, a day or two after my last clip recorded. So I've ended up recording this episode over the span of, I think it's about 4 or 5 days. And I have no idea how long the video is going to be or how much footage of each thing I'm going to be showing. But I do know that in the process of doing everything, I've had at least 5 or 6 unfortunate deaths. One was at the beginning, right with the Ender Dragon, where I just got obliterated straight off the start. Was unable to help in any real way. And then the second was a big main one where the flying machine failed and dropped me into the void. And then I had about another 6 or 7 trying to build the ice highway machine. Trying to build that low in near the void, but luckily I didn't have any gear that I was worried about losing doing that. And yeah, so once I got my first set of Elytra, happy days there. It went very similarly well regarding the raiding of the end cities. Only one misfortunate thing happened is I accidentally left a shulker box full of goodies, including shulker shells, at one of the end cities. When I took it out to put stuff in it, I forgot to pick it back up and put it back in the ender chest, which is a bit of a doping move. So I've just told everyone on our Discord chat that if they come across it, if they don't mind just returning it, and I'll obviously give them a decent reward for doing so, because I honestly have no idea how much gear I had in that box. But before we end today's episode off, I thought I'd show you our haul of, I think it's a total of around about 6 or 7 hours worth of end city raiding. And the whole point I've had to actually stop is because I've run out of rockets and gunpowder. I even managed to get some gunpowder off one of the lads on here, and I've gone through that in rockets. So yeah, everyone's short on gunpowder at the moment. So my end city raiding is sort of diminished up until I'm able to get hold of a decent quantity of gunpowder. But on the positive side, we've got our end city raiding set of armor there with bits and pieces that I've picked up. And then we've got a bunch of goodies in this one. So tons of armor, tons of picks, tons of swords. Good fair few diamonds, gold, emeralds, bunch more in here. So we've got a lot more emeralds, golds, armor, picks, shovels, a lot more diamonds. And then this one, even more armor, even more gold, more diamonds. Not so many diamonds or emeralds in this one though. This one was mainly armor and picks. And some of the picks that I've been getting have been pretty decent, like mending, efficiency 4 and unbreaking. All I've got to do is throw like Silk Touch or Fortune 3 on that, and that's a top-notch pick. And then an absolute bunch of Elytra, which I'm very happy about. And then an absolute ton of shulker shells. So we've got all the shulker boxes that we could possibly want. I think that's about 40 odd shulker boxes there, plus the ones that we've got here, plus this one here, which is my tall one. So we've got 2 Fortune, 3 efficiency 5 picks. One of them I actually found in an end city, which is extremely good. Potion of Slowfall, and that's just my tools. And then I went and harvested a ton of obsidian. One of the other lads have also harvested a ton of obsidian, which is probably going to be next episode's project by the looks of it. And then we've got a few more shulker boxes in there which are empty. But yeah, I thought I'd show you the haul that we had. And in all, how many diamonds have we actually got? Got all of them. We have it in here. And then what I did do is when I had to empty out my ender chest of all of my goodies, I threw a chest down here, and I don't know what I actually kept in this one. Oh, we've got our Hearts of the Sea and our standard tools that we did have. So these are now garbage ones compared to the ones that we picked up, and my sponges and wither skulls and whatnot. Don't worry, I'm more than likely going to move that chest because I've got shulker chests now, so I can store an absolute ton in my ender chest using the shulker boxes. And it's not the case that I don't trust the other people on the server. It's just I really like to have all of my valuables safe in one spot where I know where they all are. And I've got no problem. That's the thing, is that I'm quite happy to send people to my base if they need something like iron, gold, redstone. I'll say, yeah, just go ahead, grab it from my base. And the amount of people that could come by in a day if something was to go missing, not that I think they ever would, I'd like to know that none of that stuff could go missing, so then I won't be thinking, oh well, maybe it was that guy, or maybe it was that guy. It's just easier for me to keep it safe in here. But we've got a ton of emeralds to go buy some books off some villagers. A bunch of armor, so we're definitely not going to have to make any diamond armor anytime soon. I'm even got a full set on me, which is my top gear that I've got actually. So I've kind of got mending on most of it apart from the pants. The pants are rubbish because I'm not putting mending with something with thorns on. That'd be a very bad move. I've got unbreaking and mending on my elytra. Also, I realised if you don't have mending and unbreaking on elytra, it does not last very long at all. I very nearly died in the void. If I didn't have feather falling on my boots, I definitely would have died because I landed just on the edge of an end island from about 40 blocks up, and it left me down to, I think it was like half a heart. So yeah. But we've got a bunch of elytra, so I'll probably ask the guys in the Discord if any of them need any, because I know how difficult it is trying to get to your first end city that's not yet been raided without having elytra. Like, I was fortunate with the Ice Highway, no one had gone that far out, so all of the end cities there hadn't been touched, so it was a right result for me. And yeah, so I'm quite happy. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's episode. Hopefully it's not been too all over the place. I honestly have no idea how much footage I'm going to be throwing in, but I'll try to keep it under the half-an-hour mark for you. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed it, and I'll hopefully see you all in the next one. Bye bye.